Have you ever noticed how your brain just won't shut off? Like you're trying to focus on one single thing, but your mind drags you a million miles in another direction. You're stressed out, you're constantly overthinking, and honestly, you feel totally exhausted before your day has even started. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really profound piece of source material, a timeless Buddhist teaching that targets this exact modern chaos. We're going to look at the real reason why our minds race, and the surprisingly simple ancient secret to finally hitting the brakes.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why does our mind refuse to find peace? It's something we all struggle with, right? We're locked in this constant, exhausting battle with our own thoughts. And society? Society tells us the answer is out there, that we just need to keep chasing things. We convince ourselves, if I just get a little more money, a better job, or, a nicer house, I'll finally quiet all that noise in my head. But we really have to ask ourselves, does that actually work?
So that brings us to our first main section. Why is our mind restless? Let's take a look at the actual root of human restlessness.
Think about the fundamental nature of our brains for a second. If the human mind were naturally designed to be peaceful, the world around us would look entirely different. Nobody would be endlessly running the rat race, obsessing over material stuff. But clearly, that is not our reality. Our misguided search for peace actually creates a trap. Just look at this cycle. Step 1. We gather things, wrongly believing they hold the key to our happiness. When we get them, Step 2 happens. We experience a brief, fleeting hit of joy. But then Step 3 hits hard. That joy inevitably fades, often leaving us feeling kind of empty or sorrowful. So what do? Step 4. We immediately start chasing the next shiny thing. This endless, exhausting loop absolutely does not lead to peace. It leads directly to Step 5, ultimate, overwhelming anxiety.
And this brilliantly illustrates a core truth from our source material. Consider a starving beggar who finds a simple, dry piece of bread. To him, it's absolute bliss. It is pure happiness. Now contrast that with a wealthy man sitting in front of a lavish, extravagant 56-course meal, yet he remains miserable and completely unfulfilled. Why is that? Because happiness and sadness are not physical realities attached to objects. No, they are entirely illusions created by the state of our minds.
Moving on to part 2, the story of a restless young man and the hidden dangers of seeking a quick fix for the mind.
To really cement this concept, our source text shares a pretty powerful story. In a small village, there lived a young man who was incredibly stressed out. His mind was absolute chaos, just filled with endless tension and sorrow. Desperate for a cure, he hears about a wise Buddhist monk visiting the village. He immediately rushes to the ashram, basically begging to find a solution for his agony. When he arrives, he hears the monk delivering this profound truth to a crowd. A restless mind cannot enjoy even the wealth of the whole world. The monk is teaching them that without a calm foundation, all the external riches and successes in the universe are completely useless. You literally cannot experience the joy of them. A peaceful mind, however, can find immense joy in the smallest, simplest moments of life, totally regardless of what you own.
So, the young man privately begs the monk for a way to calm his racing mind, and the monk suggests meditation. But look at the deeply flawed steps the young man takes here. Step 1. He hears about meditation. Step 2. He goes home and meditates for exactly one single night. Then Step 3. He storms back to the monk the very next morning, furious, demanding an instant cure because his mind isn't magically fixed. This quick fix mentality perfectly mirrors our modern impatience, doesn't it? We all want profound inner peace, but we want it downloaded in 5 minutes flat.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mystery of the leaky pot. This is a brilliant metaphor for the human mind, and things get a bit deeper here.
Seeing the young man's immense frustration, the monk realizes that words alone just aren't going to cut it anymore. He needs to physically show him. So, the monk hands the impatient young man a pot and gives him a very strange request. He tells him to go to the nearby river and fill it to the brim with water. The young man thinks the monk is crazy, but, he obeys. He dips the pot into the river, but as he pulls it out, he notices the pot is covered in tiny holes. The water violently pours out everywhere. He tries again and again, getting completely exhausted and incredibly angry at this seemingly impossible, deeply frustrating task.
The young man returns, shouting at the monk about how useless and broken the pot is. The monk calmly looks at him and delivers this massive turning point. This pot is your mind. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. The monk uses this intense moment of extreme frustration to reveal a profound truth about human nature and precisely how we mismanage our own brains.
So the crucial point is, what exactly are those holes in the pot?
Well, they represent our constant streams of emotions, reactions, and desires, things like anger, unchecked greed, and worldly attachments. We spend our entire lives desperately trying to fill our minds with external things, success, validation, money, all to find peace. But because of these emotional holes, whatever we pour in just endlessly leaks right back out. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain wide open. You can never ever truly fill a mind that is constantly bleeding its energy outward.
This naturally brings us to our final phase, how to empty the mind and the true path to lasting peace.
Hearing this, the young man is stunned. He realizes he's been wasting his entire life trying to fill an unfillable vessel. He asks the monk, well, if filling it won't bring peace, what will? And the monk's ultimate solution is a complete paradigm shift. He tells him, if you can't find peace by filling the pot, you must do the exact opposite. You must empty it. Actually, scratch that, it's not even about aggressively pushing thoughts out. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer, brutal simplicity of the monk's advice. Don't let outside garbage in. You just have to stop taking in the endless stream of external noise. You stop engaging with the petty desires, the meaningless distractions, and the toxic inputs. True peace comes from starving the chaos and blocking that mental garbage from ever entering your inner sanctuary in the first place.
So how do we maintain this? Let's look at the importance of continuous practice and treating meditation as daily nourishment.
But how do we actually maintain this empty state? The young man is still a bit confused. He still doesn't quite grasp why his one night of meditation was a total failure. To clarify this, the monk shifts the perspective from a leaky pot to something far more biological and relatable for all of us. Let me ask you this directly, just as the monk asked the young man. Does drinking water once quench your thirst forever? Obviously not. You wouldn't drink a single glass of water today and expect to never feel thirsty again for the rest of your life. So why on earth do we expect one single session of meditation or one single day of being mindful to permanently cure a lifetime of deep mental restlessness? Think about the difference between physical and mental thirst. On one side, we have physical thirst. Your body burns energy, depletes its resources, and demands daily water to survive. On the other side, we have mental thirst. Your mind is constantly consuming thoughts, reacting to stress, and getting tangled up in anxiety. It also has a daily hunger, and it desperately needs the daily nourishment of meditation to starve its endless craving for chaos. It is a biological maintenance requirement, guys, not a one-time magical pill. Let's move to and see how this builds a framework for lasting success. The source text makes it absolutely clear that we often bring a lot of agitation to our practice. To actually succeed over the long haul, there are 3 non-negotiable requirements you must cultivate. Number 1, patience. You will not see results instantly, and that's perfectly okay. Number 2, time. You have to actively carve out the space for it every single day. And number 3, calmness. You must approach the practice gently without forcefully demanding immediate results. Which brings us to our final question. Are you ready to empty the pot of your mind? Remember, a restless mind isn't a life sentence, and finding lasting peace isn't about acquiring more things or trying to hack your way to a quick fix. It is entirely in your hands to take control and stop letting the outside garbage in. Start patching those emotional holes today with patience, time, and daily practice. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I want to leave you with this challenge. What is one piece of external mental garbage you can choose to block out right now? See you next time.